What's going on? Welcome to the first video of 2026, the year of the Yellow Star. Today, first up, we're going to look at Seaview Square Mall in Ocean Township, New Jersey. That's built in the 1990s. I don't know how old this year has been, so let's take a look. Now, it starts off when we go to Sears. Sears is the first store that me and my family went to in the 1990s, of the 90s where I was born. And Sears has been probably the most experienced selling store of the lifetime. And me and mom or dad have to buy something from Sears. So Sears had to be the iconic store in all New Jersey. And Sears has probably been my inspiration and my future and the place where I get ready to go to school. First, I gotta buy things. This is one of the most precious memories inside the Sears. In fact, one of those most precious memories of Sears that I have ever been through, of the place where we get ready for school or church. That's the inside tour of Sears. I think Sears is America's famous store that ever known. Anyhow, let's move on to Seaview Square Mall. Seaview Square Mall is like the first mall that I went to in Ocean Township, New Jersey. I can't remember what old thing it looks like inside, what detail it looks like inside. So, Seaview Square Mall is a big ol' inspiration of the first generation of when I was a little child or a baby in the 1993 or 1990s. But I don't have to explain that much, so I'm gonna let the origin of the Seaview Square Mall speak for itself. And here it is.
Here are the key dates for Seaview Square Mall in Ocean Township, New Jersey. Round pushpin, construction and opening. Built/opened. The mall was developed in the mid-1970s and officially opened on November 2nd, 1977 as an enclosed regional shopping mall. Shopping bags, closure and demolition. Closed. The indoor mall portion closed on December 31st, 2000. Demolished. Most of the original indoor mall structure was demolished in 2001 to make way for redevelopment into a power center, outdoor shopping center. Building construction. After demolition, the site was redeveloped into Seaview Square Shopping Center, a power center with big box stores such as Target and Costco. The redevelopment progressed through the early 2000s, and the property was renamed and revitalized further in 2012. Summary. Built/opened November 2nd, 1977. Closed December 31st, 2000. Demolished 2001, most of the indoor mall. And the mall was very, very old that it got demolished. But I don't know when, and I don't remember when it was built, but I kind of like the Seaview Square Mall. It's, in fact, I like all the malls. First off, Seaview Square Mall was a first generation of all malls. But now it's demolished, and I typically don't need it anymore because it's very, very, very old. Anyway, let's get back to talking about the Seaview Square Mall. Now, Seaview Square Mall is very, very vintage. And I don't know what stores are inside this mall, but I don't know if there's any food courts inside Seaview Square Mall. I mean, it was a really, really, really long time ago. And Seaview Square Mall is like the first shopping mall that I ever saw. I bet it might have merry-go-rounds, food courts, and one thing I saw on the Seaview Square Mall when I was little is the blue elevator. The blue elevator is very, very, very blue. And it has an escalator and stairs inside. Seaview Square Mall is particularly different than the other malls around, because Seaview Square Mall has been the most number one mall I've ever seen since I was a little child. Between Sears and Value City, Seaview Square Mall has been one of the most differentest places I've ever been to. Of once, way back in the 1990s, there was lots of people with lots of shopping malls and lots of shopping places such as barber shop, clothing stores, jewelry, digital camera stores, technology stores, and lots of other stores among that. I believe Seaview Square Mall has, like, say, elevators and escalators where you go up and down the stair railings and other things like that. In fact, the Seaview Square Mall is probably different. More like, say, like way back in the 1970s that was been built. And I don't know how long they built this, but Seaview Square Mall has been like my first dream to me. Real first day dream. And it's either in the morning and the afternoon that I went to. And probably, I'd say, barber shops are all around that Seaview Square Mall. Way, way, way back. Wow, there's so many things that happen around here at the Seaview Square Mall. Lots of places, lots of stores, lots of clothing stores, lots of jewelry stores, and lots of food courts. I don't know if the food court's here in the Seaview Square Mall, but I'm thinking that's a food court maybe. And I think the mall is also a place where it has like cartoon books, cartoon comic books, cartoon magazines, and cartoon food places like restaurants. And even movie theaters about cartoons. Way vintage and way old, as a matter of fact. And I'm going to mention it before again to repeat it. It even has like say barber shops, beauty salons, or even probably toy shops for kids. From the vintage 90s, 80s, 60s, and 70s. Really funny cartoons from the way vintage 90s, 80s, and 70s for kids. And I think Seaview Square Mall is very, very vintage, full of cartoon shirts, cartoon magazines, cartoon comic books, and lots of vintage movie theaters. As I'm about to mention one more time, Seaview Square Mall has like restaurants, movie theaters, clothes shops, cartoon books, libraries, cartoon characters, magazines, and barbershops and food courts, and other vintage stores, and vintage movie theaters, and vintage places all over around the place where we gather around and shop around where everybody succeeds at the Seaview Square Mall. In fact, Seaview Square Mall is probably like a vintage place. A vintage place where we're all together and we shop naturally, for all the things. In conclusion of the Seaview Square Mall, it's the #1 vintage mall I've ever seen when I was a little child in the 1990s. So let's go on straight to Value City. Inside Value City, that has been demolished way years ago. I don't know when Value City's been demolished, but Value City is a store after Seaview Square Mall. So I bet Value City has like furniture things and clothes and dress-ups and the things you want to buy for going out to school or going out to church. And Value City has like, say, clothes, dresses, pants, skirts, shoes, socks, and other things you want to buy. And even has furniture stuff. Like, say, chairs, tables, and couches, and even desks for offices, and even for family rooms. And that's the video of the Seaview Square Mall located in Ocean Township, New Jersey. Now let's review the map of Seaview Square Mall. Sears, that's where the store used to be, right here. Value City. The reason why I say that, because that word is too vintage and that word's too hard. I don't even know what it is. I call it Value City because Value City is what I know the title of the store. So there's 2 levels of Seaview Square Mall. The upper level, which is where we enter inside Seaview Square Mall, and the lower level, which I don't know the entrance is inside the Seaview Square Mall. Right in the middle of Sears and Value City, and fronted in Ocean Township, New Jersey. Well, that concludes our tour of Seaview Square Mall that is built in the 90s, and it was demolished in the 2000s. So see you on the next video where I talk about Monmouth Mall and what's happening on Seaview. Alright, these Seaview on Ocean Township, New Jersey.